If you want to button down. You get there?
You want to start? You want to
It doesn't matter to me. Like I said, Detective Wakefield, I'm with Prairie Village.
Okay.
So the Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, Brian Gressel, yeah.
We're just going to ask you a few questions, kind of go over your statement, what you remember from that day.
Sure.
We're going to start by kind of getting some prehistory, how long you worked there, stuff like that. So I'm just going to ask you some generic, basic questions here to start with, okay?
Okay.
Your name's Ryan?
Yes, sir.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Newlon.
Newlon. How long have you been with Overland Park?
About a year and a half.
Okay. Did you work anywhere before that?
No.
Okay. How about the police academy? Where'd you go?
I went to the Johnson County.
Johnson County Academy.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you graduated from there by now?
December, sometime middle in December of last year.
Okay. And what shift are you assigned to right now?
Evenings.
What are those hours?
2:30 to 10:30. Right now we're on Saturday through Wednesday.
Saturday through Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. How long have you been on that shift?
We just started the new rotation probably about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And do you have the same district all the time? Does that rotate, kind of walk through how?
I'm an area car, so I either am everywhere or I'm assigned to a district if we're short.
Okay, so it kind of just depends.
Mm-hmm. But my general quadrant is basically I am south of 435 and west of Antioch.
Okay. How about specifically yesterday? Were you assigned to a district?
Yesterday I was not assigned to a district.
Okay. So you were an area car?
Yes.
And go over that area one more time with me.
South of 435 and west of Antioch.
And do you just go to any calls that are in that area as kind of a secondary, or how's that work?
Basically, it's wherever they call me. If I'm a close unit for a backing unit for a district officer, then I'll go.
Okay.
Otherwise, I kind of go around, run traffic, self-initiate, do things like that.
Okay. So predominantly you're a backing officer if you're dispatched to a call
Right.
the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to kind of Friday.
Okay.
You were working Friday also, right?
Yes. No, I did not work Friday. I was off.
So yesterday was your Monday?
Yesterday was my Monday, yes.
Okay, so you were off Friday?
Yes.
About what time do you go to bed Friday night? Do you have any idea?
Probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, probably.
Is that pretty standard for your
Yeah.
bedtime after getting off evening shift?
Mm-hmm.
So the same schedule?
Yeah.
What time do you think you got up Saturday morning?
10:30.
Okay. Do you have any like pre-work routine, go to the gym or anything like that?
Yeah, obviously wake up, shower, get all that stuff ready for the day. Then I go and work out for about an hour before my shift.
Okay. Did you do that yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What time do you think you got to the gym?
Right around 1.
Okay. And is that at OP's gym? Or
Yeah, it's at the gym at Sanders.
The gym at Sanders. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how long do you think you worked out for?
Probably about 30, 45 minutes.
Okay. So probably 1:30, 1:45.
Yeah.
And then you start getting ready for your shift?
Yeah.
Okay. You said shift starts at 2:30. Do you get there before shift for like a briefing or roll call?
Yeah, roll call starts at 2:30.
Roll call does. Okay. How many calls were you on before? Do you remember any specific calls before this one came out yesterday?
The only other call I remember going on yesterday was an alarm at a bank.
Okay. And then other than that, you just did self-initiated activity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go around and try and find traffic.
Do you remember where you were when this call was dispatched?
Yeah, I was at 151 in Stearns.
Okay. And how did the call come out?
It came out as attempted suicide.
Okay.
Are you wanting to call no kind of version of that too, or?
Yes.
Okay. The information that I remember we received was the subject had stabbed himself in the stomach. He was on Snapchat. There was blood. And then I also understood that we had had history with the subject before, and he had expressed violent tendencies towards police.
Okay. And is that coming from like a call note that you're reading, or is that radio traffic?
I believe all that was voice because I wasn't reading much. I was just trying to get there.
Okay. Had you dealt with him yourself?
I had not personally dealt with him, no.
Okay. So this was your first time going to that?
Yes.
Can you kind of walk me through the path you took there, how you arrived, where you
basically pretty straightforward. I was already sitting right there at the stop sign at Stearns and 151st. I went east on 151st over to England and north to the street, and I can't remember the exact street number he was on, but basically north to the street is right off England right there.
Okay. And what did you do when you arrived?
When I arrived, I looked, I didn't see another officer there due to the nature of the call. I waited in my car until I saw a second officer show up.
Okay. Do you remember where you parked?
I was parked on the north side of the street, about a house down from the dispatched address.
Okay.
About a house east.
Okay. When the second officer arrived, what did you do from that point?
From that point, I exited my patrol vehicle. Since we had gotten notes that there was potentially blood on scene, I went ahead and gloved up as a precaution and started to make my approach to the house as the other officer was making their approach.
Okay. When you got up to the house, kind of walk me through what happened there while you were...
Once we got up to the house, we took a second to kind of assess what we were hearing. We could hear a dog barking. It sounded like a large dog. And also, because of the information we had, we're like, we can't just walk into the house. We don't necessarily want to go up to the door. And so Officer Jennison asked me if I had my patrol phone on me and if we had a phone number for the subject that was in the house. At that point in time, I was like, no, I don't, but let me run back to my car and get it. So I ran back to my patrol car. As that was coming out, I believe it was the reporting party was in a silver Jeep. And I was unclear if it was his mother or who it was, but I knew it was somebody related to the call based on where they were. And so I approached her as I was going to my car to get the phone, spoke with her for a quick minute about getting a phone number for the subject inside and reaching in my car to grab my patrol phone. When I turned around and looked, I saw the garage door start to open up. I started to make my way on the south side of the street. I started to make my way back up by where Officer Jennison was. And then, go ahead.
Where was he at?
He was right by the driveway, maybe on the driveway, but in that general instance, as he saw the garage door open up, he was trying to contact the individual. I saw the van start to back out as I was coming up, and Officer Jensen giving the commands for him to stop. The van was accelerating rapidly, and it looked like it was going right at him. And that's when I noticed I think it was like 3 shots.
So you said when the garage door opened up, the van was backing up, and you thought it was going towards him.
Yes.
You heard the 3 shots. About how far away do you think you were? Just if you had to...
maybe about 100 feet.
Okay. And did you hear Officer Jennison say anything?
I heard him telling him to stop, please stop. I think stop's the main thing I heard just over and over and over again.
Okay. Kind of, if you can describe to me what you were thinking at that point.
At that point, honestly, I don't know exactly what I was thinking. All I was thinking is there's somebody in a van, and I see the van back towards somebody. I start to hear the shots. I draw my weapon just in case, because I don't know what else is prompted besides the vehicle backing into him if there's any other thing. So I try to go to more of a cover position, but I'm pretty far back, so I'm trying to make my way up as I have my weapon drawn to assist in the situation.
Okay, so you did have your weapon out too?
I did.
And quickly, what kind of guns do you, or what kind of weapons do you guys carry?
Glock 22.
Okay. Did you have any other weapons, any less lethal or anything like
I
that?
had a taser on my chest.
Okay.
And my OC on my belt.
And were you wearing uniform?
Yes, I was.
What type of uniform and vest do you wear? Is it an outer vest?
It's the outer vest.
Okay. So after you said a few initial shots, kind of walk through what happened from that point as you're making your approach.
So as I'm making my approach, I see the van start to swoop around, and at that point, I believe that's also when Sergeant Goddard's patrol vehicle came into the mix, and he backed up towards Jensen. There was another volley of fire. I don't remember exactly the shots, but I still think it was somewhere close to 3. It was just a few, and assess. It seemed like what was going on is I'm still trying to make my way up, and then after that volley, the van ended up across the street. I think it was Officer Goddard and Vendetti were making their way up there as Jensen was making their way up there, and I was making my way over there. Goddard and Vendetti got to the van first, and they told me to just take care of Jensen. So at that point, I holstered my firearm and
you went with him.
And went with him.
Did he make any statements to you or anything like that that you can remember?
I thought he was going to run me over. That was one of the first things he said. He was just breathing real heavy, he's very upset, and he said that multiple times.
Okay. And you said he was very upset. Can you kind of describe his?
I mean, he did a quick check on himself, and then he was just kind of bent over. He's breathing heavy.
Okay.
You could just kind of hear the kind of crack in his voice.
Okay. Any idea how long you stayed with him, or did you stay with him?
I stayed with him the entire time, except for while he was getting checked out in the ambulance. I cleared the house with Officer Robbins.
Okay. Can you kind of describe and again, this is just your vantage point, you said you were probably 100
something like that. Rough guess. Basically, I was in the neighbor's yard and making my way up as everything was unfolding, so I got closer as the situation unfolded.
From what you could see when the van was backing up, where was Officer Jennison? You said it almost hit him when it was backing up.
The first time Officer Jennison was from where he was in the back passenger side of the van.
Okay.
And then after the initial volley and the turnaround, he was still on the right side of the van, but he was on the east side of the property, so basically on the same side I was that I was approaching.
Okay. So the first time he was on the opposite side of you, and the second time he was on the same side of you. Okay. Any other questions?
Just some of your previous stuff again. Do you have any other collateral duties as far as any special teams you're on?
No.
Okay. And you talked about your uniform and you had the outer vest. What all is displayed on the outer vest? I mean, is there like a badge?
Name tape, badge, police is on the back in big letters.
Is there anything else in the front as far as police?
They're
different.
No.
Okay. Was there ever a time you guys saw him in the house?
No, we could not directly see him.
What do you remember the lighting condition being?
There was a light on. It looked like back towards the kitchen, but the lights towards the front of the house were off.
And what about outside?
Honestly, I don't remember.
I think you've mentioned a couple of names, but what all officers were present? You mentioned Sergeant Goddard, Officer Jennison.
Yeah, Sergeant Goddard, Officer Jennison, and Officer Vendetti.
And other than what you initially thought was the mom, was there any other civilian people around that you remember?
Not that I had contact with, no.
Probably didn't even think of.
Okay. So time for just a second. We're going to step out for just a minute, make sure there's nothing else, and
Sure.
we'll get you out of here, okay?
Understood?
You mean Coke right now?
No, I'm all set. I appreciate you guys.
That's what's up.
You mentioned when the vehicle first came out and you looked up, and you mentioned that it came right at him and stuff, and you mentioned that it accelerated. How do you describe more of that as far as what you saw, why you thought it was going toward him, and kind of the acceleration that you talked about?
I mean, anytime, the reason I thought it was accelerating towards him is because anytime I backed out of the driveway, anytime you see anybody that's not in any particular hurry, not trying to do anything, it's a nice, easy back out there watching. It started off slow roll for a couple seconds, and then it just sped up. And he was already back there. He was about an arm's reach away from the van as it was happening. He was already yelling, giving commands at that point to try and contact the subject.
When you said a couple things, when you said it was an arm reach away from the van, could you kind of describe to me where the van was and where?
I remember him towards the tail back right side of the van, and as he started back up and as it started to accelerate towards him, and it got about an arm reach away as he was backing away. I saw his arm extended out as it was kind of coming back towards him.
And could you hear anything coming from the van?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember any screeching tires or anything like that?
Not that I can specifically recall.
Okay. Not forget the term you used earlier when it turned.
Yeah.
Tell me more about what that looked like to you.
I just saw basically it seemed like the front of the van just whipped around in a completely different direction, and at that point that was where Jensen seemed to step back around to the back side of the van to stay away from the front of it, and then started backing up the driveway again as Jensen moved to try and make his way off to the side.
And about how close do you think it got to him on that occasion?
Probably within 3 or 4 feet, if not closer.
And again, could you kind of describe where he was in relation to the van as it was getting with?
As it was initially backing up, he was almost directly behind it. From what I remember, he was behind it, trying to make his way around to the other side to try and stay away from it.
Would you be able to draw just a quick diagram of that and how that kind of looked?
I can try.
Give it a shot.
If you're an artist, anything like me.
I am not an artist.
Well,
but
I always point out my last art class was 6th grade for a reason. So,
yeah,
if you can kind of show where the house is at and all that, and then just kind of give us an idea what that looked like to you.
Pull up the house. So you got Jensen here. This is the van. Backed in towards him here, and then as it got down to about here, after he had moved off to the side in the initial volley, the front end swooped around down here, and he had moved off this way and was making his way back over here as it backed up, and then there was another volley here as it continued over across the street.
And so when he did the curl there, that had him facing which direction then?
That had the front of the van facing out towards the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you remember him backing out of the garage, turning, and that was facing the street?
Yeah, and then he was facing the street, and then he backed up.
Okay.
And back into the driveway.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. I think your drawing's good.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a bunch of scribbles.
You mentioned, real quick, did you ever discharge any of your weapons?
I did not.
Okay. Did you ever get any of your weapons out of your car?
I did not.
You mentioned at one point that you did a sweep of the house with, you said Officer Robbins?
Yes, sir.
What's his first name?
William.
And how do you spell his Robin?
Robbins is Robbins.
Okay. Do you remember any other officers arrived on scene shortly after?
There was a flood of them. Honestly, I don't remember all of them. I remember seeing different sergeants, command staff, and several other officers. I don't remember.
What about like the initial arriving officers? As far as, did anybody else search the house with you and Robbins?
No, it's just Robbins and I that entered the house, and that was after Sergeant Hazard arrived on scene. I think he took command at some point. I don't remember.
How do you spell Sergeant who?
I'm going to get the spelling wrong. H-A-S-Z, I think.
Okay. Now, so Sergeant did he tell you two to go search?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you searched the house, can you tell me about that a little more? What did you see? What were you? What was the main point of that effort?
The point of the effort was a protective sweep to make sure there was nobody else in the house. So we started off from the garage because that was already an open point. We entered, made our way around like kind of the formal dining room into the kitchen area. In the kitchen area, there were some items on the cabinet that were congruent with the call. I don't know how much detail you want on that. There was alcohol bottles, an empty pill bottle, a blade knife on the counter, and blood on the floor. Not a whole lot of blood. I actually expected to see more blood from what notes we had.
Okay.
And those were the main things of note I saw in the house. As we made our way through the rest of the house, there was still the dog barking. The dog was upstairs in the master bedroom laying on its bed, baring its teeth at us. And all we could think is, please just leave us alone while we finish this up and we'll shut the door and get out of here. I really don't want to deal with the dog right now.
Yeah. So was there anything else that stands out to you when you go through the house?
No, that was the biggest standout, was that part right there in the kitchen.
Okay, so after you guys cleared the house, what did you end up doing then?
After we cleared the house, I waited outside. After Genesis was done the ambulance, I walked in back to a patrol car, and essentially we sat on scene until we were told to leave by command staff, and I drove Officer Jensen to Sanders Station for a meeting with detectives and all that stuff.
That's all the thing I updated on, at least, unless you had something I missed.
No, I don't think so. I think we covered everything I had notes on.
Is there anything else you can think of that you think we should know about before or after?
Not that comes to mind, no.
Certainly, I'll make sure you get my card and stuff like that. If something pops up later, feel free to give us a call.
Definitely.
Appreciate you coming down and your time. And I think we're good. I'll walk you back to the front.
Okay.
Did you need to talk to anybody here that you know of?
Not that I'm aware
I had
of.
an Overland Parker person here, but I don't think he's here.
I don't know. I just got a phone call from the South Lodge commander, though, so I don't know. I got to give them a call back.
Cool. All right. Well, appreciate it.
Thanks again.
Absolutely.
My card.
Thank you.
And I'll see if I can get you out of here without getting lost.
That's always the trick, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Yeah.